Welcome to the High Performance Man podcast. I am your host, John Fayocavitz. On this show, I interview successful men who have built impressive careers and businesses, founders, CEOs, senior leaders, and professionals who have operated at a high level for years. We talk about what actually made them successful. The goal is simple: to learn directly from men who have done it, so we can apply those insights into our own careers, businesses, and lives, and continue raising our own standard of performance. Our show is sponsored by the Prime Performance Method. The Prime Performance Method is designed specifically for high-performing men who have achieved success in their careers but feel like their body and energy have taken a hit along the way. We help busy professional men regain strength, lose weight, and feel younger without long workouts, extreme dieting, or disrupting their demanding schedule. So if you're a high-performing man who wants to feel as strong and energized as you are successful, message me, John Fayocavitz, on LinkedIn. On today's show, we have Richard Parker, who is in investment banking for the Roy Street Advisors. Welcome, Richard. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you having me. It's nice to see you.
You too. All right, my first question. What is the most important lesson you've learned so far that's helped you become successful in your business?
Not worrying about being right and focus instead on getting it right.
Not worrying about, awesome. So how many years have you been with the company you're in now?
36. Well, Roy Street is an offshoot of one of my other companies. I've bought 14 businesses, offshoot of one of my other companies, which has always been in the sphere of mergers and acquisitions, buying and selling businesses. So buying for myself and then getting involved in the advisory side for buyers and for sellers. But yeah, I've been in business since February 1990.
Wow. Now,
Yes.
the DIOMO Corporation, or
Yes.
what is that?
So DIOMO Corporation stands for doing it on my own. That's the business that was my first business, actually. And it's remained the umbrella company for all my other businesses, or for most of the other businesses, rather. And that part of the business is focused on mostly publishing and educational materials for individuals that are looking to acquire businesses, done on a more direct to individuals versus Roy Street, which is an advisory firm, investment banking advisory that we work on the sell side, helping business owners prepare and package and market their business for sale. So we have both, both sides of the equation, and one's more institutional, if you will, on the sell side, and DIOMO is geared for individuals looking to change their life, budding or aspiring entrepreneurs that want to acquire a business. So
you got two, from one spectrum to the other, really.
Exactly.
I mean, you get wearing a lot of hats.
Wear a lot of hats, and it's just, it's been a natural evolution of being in the space and buying businesses for myself, and then getting more on the consultative side for buyers, and then and then for sellers. It's really been when you're very entrepreneurial, like to think I am, and I'm sure most of your readers are, you're always looking, you're looking for challenges. You get bored easily. All these type of things. So you get involved in a bunch of different things. So when I look back, it's not really fragmented. It seems to me a very logical evolution to cover, the whole space of mergers, acquisitions, buying, selling businesses.
Now, when you're buying businesses and acquisitions and stuff, is it basically one area, or do you focus on like a certain, like an industry of sort?
It's a great question. I don't. I realized shortly after buying a couple of businesses, and one or two of them which were turned into garbage businesses, entirely by my fault, the focus is on what I could bring to the business, meaning, unless you're dealing with a huge company, if you're talking about an owner-operated business, matching your skill set is much more important than the type of business, because you could always learn an industry, but you can't necessarily learn a skill set. So my skill set is, my best skill set in an operational business is the sales and marketing component. So to me, matching a business that requires a strong sales and marketing effort to drive the revenue and profits of the business is what I match, what is important to match up for me. So the industry is less important, because you could always learn a business. It's like it's this thing of people always confuse experience with expertise. Oh, I've always been in healthcare, or I've always been in automotive
Right.
aftermarket products. So I think I got to buy a business in automotive aftermarkets or in healthcare. And it's absolutely not the case. It's what you did specifically in that business. What is your greatest skill set, and match that up with a business.
Right. Now, would you say that you do certain marketing, or is it word of mouth usually that you have gotten your businesses?
All, going back, way back, it would be more, traditional marketing. It was very different back then. You look like a young guy too, like me. I think we're both a little bit of old farts, but
Well, let me tell you what,
yeah,
if you knew
yeah,
what,
I know.
if it wasn't for my gray hair, it
Well, I
gives
don't have
everything,
it. I don't
it
have,
gives
I
everything
don't have
away.
much at all. So, marketing is very different today than it was, 3 decades ago or what have you. And so it's much more instantaneous now. On the, in my investment banking world, I've just been doing it so long, and really garnered a real nice stable of clients. And I get my referrals typically from attorneys, accountants, financial planners. On the publishing side and helping buyers, and the books and courses that we've written, I've been around for a long time. I have hundreds and hundreds of articles that have been published online. And so
Wow.
it gets to a point, like, that's the nice thing about the internet. It gets to a point where your profile, by creating a lot of good content, really, it doesn't go away. And
Right.
I'm seeing more and more where people are searching and using AI tools, that it's finding articles that I might have wrote 12 years ago or 18 years ago.
Right.
So, we actually don't have to do a whole lot of marketing anymore,
Yeah.
because it's just, we've created this really strong educational piece, or in the investment banking side, representing sellers, really nice reputation. And so we get our referrals from professionals that we're going to be involved with in these transactions.
Right. Okay. Well, the first thing I got to start doing and brushing up on, or getting educated on, is AI, because I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think most of us don't, right? I mean, it's the more you dig, like, it's like terrific and terrifying at the same time, the whole
It
concept.
is.
But one part that, one nugget of it, if you will, which is really interesting, is the ability to search the universe of internet and provide you with information. And so I give you an example. Actually, today I have an engagement of a business. It's an auto aftermarket business. I use that as an example because it's top of mind.
Yep.
But normally it would take me and my team, a good part of a month to get together our target list of prospects who could potentially buy that business. And I just started using a tool today. It's actually called Priv Source, PRIV Source. Just gave it a first test run today. I just met with the principals yesterday and said, I'll give it a test run today. So they use all AI tools, and they take the key components of the business, enter that information, and search the entire internet to find out relevant transactions with a lot of drop down points. So I'm oversimplifying it, but
Right.
I was watching the search go live, and normally it would take me and my team about 30 days to get our target list together.
Don't tell me.
And it started at 11:38 and was finished at 11:43, and I had 100 leads.
You got, that is just,
And I'm watching it in live. Like, I'm watching it go through different steps, searching the internet, getting PE firms that have done it, or individual buyers, or ones that have made acquisitions in a certain type of space. And it's building the list, right? And I starts at 11:30, and it's going, the whole chronology is coming up live, like, as things are happening. 11:38 and 17 seconds, 11:38 and 42 seconds. Then it gets down to 11:43 and the list is all built. Then you hit a button for contact information, and it provides you with multiple contacts at each company, because that's always been a huge problem. Like, especially like if
yes.
you're looking to buy or sell a business, either way, if you find target people, it's almost impossible online to find their target and their exact information, because you get info at so and so, or a contact page. This is
Right.
this is a VP of business development. This is a CEO and founder, and it gives you like 3 different contacts with their phone number and their email address. Like we could never even get this before. I can't say it would take us a month. It would take us forever. We'd never, it was
Wow.
always our challenge. And
I
especially like people looking to buy businesses, if you want to reach out to owners, like, the challenge is always to find the right contact information.
Right.
And this, like, once the list was built in those 5 minutes. Then I hit build contact or put to their contact list, and
And it all comes
boom,
up.
like minutes. Yeah, with 3 fields: name, title, direct number. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh. I
So for
definitely
old
got
farts like you and I related to AI, it's like it's finding AI that could really help our businesses. I mean,
and
this
that's
was a
what I got
really
to do.
interesting tool as opposed to like trying to completely understand AI. It's what are
Right.
the tools that can help my business. And I think for business owners, they have to look at that, not be intimidated by AI, and also not
But
go down a
accept it.
rabbit hole like of, oh, I got to be an AI. No, well, not, you may not have to be, or you may
Right.
have to get something, an application of AI that's really perfect for your business, like really
Right.
narrow.
Right. Because one of the things I want to do is I want to go into corporations and companies and speak.
So, like,
And
if you're a perfect example, you'd be an AI tool that can extract companies that typically hire speakers or keynote speakers on certain subject matter,
right.
right? And have done it in the past. And an AI application would cultivate your list like in
And see,
minutes.
I spent days, like you said, weeks trying to
Oh,
just research what companies and who's the contact and who, human
yeah.
resource and oh,
Oh, it's unbelievable. And like when you're using that example, like the thing what I was telling you before, like with 30 days, and that doesn't even guarantee it's a good list. Like it's a pretty good list, but
right.
there's a lot of hit and miss, and we've gotten pretty good at it over the years. But it's still by no means close to perfect. There's a lot
Right.
on there. You return there's a lot on there. Just and you can't find the contact information. So I mean, as AI changes and evolves, I think, applying it to each individual's business, there's going to be some phenomenal tools, and it's going to be really inexpensive. So that part is like, I mean, that part's really attractive. There's parts of it that are frightening, of course,
Right.
but there really are some interesting pieces to it.
All right. Great. 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 All right, Richard. My next question. What do you think hinders a lot of men today from reaching their full potential?
Focus.
Focus. And it goes back to what I always say too is social media for me and distractions
Awful.
is what I think.
Yeah, it's focus. And a lot of times it takes years to get good at it. But a few things that I've learned that have been very helpful is one, having the ability to say no. So you're not.
Yes.
And another thing which I try to do, I'm still very old school as far as getting things done. I still use a day timer, mark everything down that I have to do during the course of a day. But I make sure that my important things I bang out, and make sure that those key things are done every day. Like your goal, in business or job or whatever you're trying to, what holds you back. I mean, when I said focus, is you want, whether you own your own business or work for someone, you want to try to get a little bigger, better, faster every day, and doing that requires, I believe, focus and taking care of the stuff that's got to get taken care of. I mean, it's very easy to push off stuff and procrastinate. And social media is like in some ways is absolutely toxic because you see people. I mean, I see people in my neighborhood. I'm working on my house today, but I see people in my neighbor walking around with their dog, and they're holding up their phone, like they're walking their
Yeah.
dog, and the leash, and they don't let go of their phone. Or you
Yep.
see a couple sitting down having dinner, and they're both sitting on their phones, and they're both scrolling, or all the kids are scrolling. But they're
Exactly.
sitting in a car. My wife and I
Yep.
pulled up to someone yesterday, and there's two young girls in the car at a red light, and they were both looking at their phones, like doing this, like
No more conversations.
they were like 18 inches away from each other, and they weren't even talking to each other. It's so, social media, besides the distraction of time, it pollutes your it's actually, I think it's anti-social media because it pollutes your social skills.
You're
Right.
right.
And engagement like this, where you and I are
Yeah.
having a conversation, deals get
Absolutely.
done, business gets done. I still believe it gets done really well the old-fashioned way, meeting with people, going out for dinner, or having a casual
Networking.
conversation, establishing a relationship, playing golf. I mean, whatever the case may be, going
Right.
for a beer or cigar or whatever the case
Right.
may be, just making that human connection.
Exactly. Great job. Okay. My next question. For most men on the road to business or professional success, other areas of their life get sacrificed. What's been one of the areas of your life that has suffered, if you have one, or many, it doesn't matter, but where you'd like to be successful now too?
It's a great question. Unfortunately, I think my answer will probably be consistent with a lot of individuals who've, spent a lot of time building businesses, and you do sacrifice time with family. I mean, it's, I'm happy to report that I realized that early on enough, but not, I should say I realized it, but not early on enough. But I did realize it at a stage where still allowed me to pivot and be more effective as far as my time is concerned with the important things, family and what have you. But when I was younger, my 20s and 30s, I was an absolute maniac working 100 hours a week, and things suffer, relationships suffer, family time suffers. And then, what I realized was, it was actually I forget exact moment, but I had to go out of town on like a Thursday at noon, and I had a ton of stuff that I had to get done that that week. And lo and behold, what would normally take me 5 days to get done, I got done in 3.5. Because you have a tendency to do or take as long time to get stuff done as you're allocated. I certainly see it with my employees. When am I going to have it? Well, 2 weeks or whatever, and it takes them the full 2 weeks. And then realize, you know what? If you really tighten up your schedule and get that focus, you can get stuff done a lot quicker. Number one.
Right.
Number two, you have to schedule in breaks that are unbreakable. In other words, I started before I moved down to Florida, I started going. I love river fishing. I started taking off Wednesday afternoons and going fishing, and no matter what, I went. And then I got to a point saying I'm not working on weekends anymore, and started doing that. And then tightened up my schedule. But it took me a lot of years and made a lot of sacrifices and did some stupid stuff because I just spent too much time working. So I wish, if you can go back and change things, which I don't really, don't try not to live with regrets. I mean,
Right.
I would have redone how I schedule my time to be more effective and balanced.
Okay. And that's with family. And how about your health?
Yeah, my health, I'm good. Up until a couple of years, about a year ago, I was playing ice hockey 4 times a week.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I blew up both my knees, so now I've started biking. So I can't, and it's crazy because when I'm playing hockey, my knees don't bother me because you're using tape and
Right. Because you're right.
and there's very little lateral movement. But like the next day, I can't get up the stairs. So unfortunately, I mean, I played since the time I'm 4, so about 59 years. I had a good run, but so I unfortunately think my ice hockey playing days are over. But I bike, and so I'm as not
That's
in good
awesome.
shape as I should be. But
Right.
yeah, I'm not bad.
Good. 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 My next question: where do you find yourself most at peace?
Um, Most at peace. Well, there's certainly with hanging out with family and friends. As far as getting to the stage of being very peaceful, I meditate. Um, I'm I go to synagogue. I'm observant on Sabbath, so I close
Awesome.
down Fridays. Depending on the time of the year, when it's winter and sun sets earlier, I close down at 3 o'clock. I close my phone off. I turn my computers off. I don't answer the phone. I don't do anything, and I'm off the grid until Sunday morning. Typically, sometimes late Saturday night after sundown. But I meditate and have been for a number of years. That's very, very helpful. And get myself completely off the grid. No business, nothing. It's just family time for those full 25, 26 hours. So that's where I find my peace.
It's where you decompress. You don't think about work or anything like
No,
that.
not at all. I don't do
Not
any
with
work. I
the
don't think
family
about
time.
work. No,
Yeah.
it took a little while to get into the groove, like 2 weeks. That's it, because you realize how magical it is. Like I feel like I have a vacation every week. And
Right.
so yes, total decompression.
Great. 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 Well, which leads me to my next question. Do you have any kind of routine, morning routine?
Yeah. I get up, I stretch. Because I have
Are
used to
you a
have.
morning person? You get up
Oh
right
yeah,
out of bed?
absolutely. I get out of bed like 100 miles an hour. The second my eyes open, I don't like to me, I'd rather have root canal than lie in bed. Like to just, I'm not, the second my eyes open, it doesn't matter if and I go to bed when I'm tired. I don't have a routine of when exactly I go to bed. When I'm tired at night, I go to bed, I get up, my eyes open, I jump out of bed. My wife thinks like I'm a
You don't
psychotic.
need an alarm clock, huh?
Oh no, 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 absolutely. The second my eyes open, I get up, I go downstairs, I stretch, I do my back stretches. I have banged down 2 espressos. And then I do my morning prayers and my morning reflection,
That's
and then I
awesome.
get into my work. I write up my day, and I used to write up my day at night, the night before, but then I found like I end up thinking about it, so I just say screw it. I write up my day in the morning, at first thing, and then I get to it. And then if I'm lucky enough, I get to have conversations with guys like you during the day.
That's awesome. Because the reason I asked that question, because it seems to be, for me, this is a personal question for me because I like to know. And what's happening is, and what I'm finding out in my podcasts is that 90% of the men that I have on my show have a routine. And
Yeah,
I really think that it's a correlation between being that way in your morning routine and sticking with something, which leads to success in your other parts.
I agree wholeheartedly. The thing that I left out is, a bike 4 times a week or whatever, sometimes five, but I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's that discipline and focus piece. And there's also comfort in familiarity for most people. Like
Right.
you get you're doing the same things over. You feel, you get into the groove, and there's comfort in that. Whatever that looks like,
Right.
there's value. And I'm not surprised that the numbers, like you said, probably about 90%, because
It is.
I think that provides people with discipline, with focus, with purpose, the time to think about things in a good way, and not just be running like helter skelter all over the place, trying to figure out stuff as you go. I think it's,
Right.
it organizes and I think it organizes your thoughts as well.
Right. Absolutely. It gives you, I'm big on mental health. Okay. And I
Right.
think that if has that start of the day, it mentally prepares me for the rest of my day,
I like makes perfect sense to me. Yeah.
and it just no distractions, nothing's getting in my mind,
Right.
nothing's going to be stopping me at that time that I have my routine.
Right. No, it makes perfect sense to me, and I think that's a big part of it. To be able to take that time and have that good mental reflection. What you're saying, it certainly resonates with me. It makes perfect sense.
Awesome, Richard. Okay. My last question.
Yeah.
If you were to give just the one piece of advice to other men that are on their journey to achieving success, what would that be? Would it be the focus that you were talking about, or is there something else that you?
I think if you weigh everything into the equation as far as business and life and whatever, to me it would be a couple of things. The first thing is be absolutely balance. I mean, you need to get so have a good balance, because at the end of the day, all this money stuff is wonderful, but what's really important are relationships. And so having that balance between family, friends, work, really figuring it out and for, forcing yourself to focus, to give yourself that away from work time, because you actually come back much better. And so whether
Right.
that be saying, what, every Friday afternoon, tailor your business to make your business work for you. If you want to work 4 days a week, set it up so you work 4 days a week, and I can assure you'll get all the work done, and you're not going to miss anything. And
Right.
you can extend that to your employees. So I think the balance piece is critical. I mean, I started realizing that. I think back, probably a little too late. I shouldn't say too late, later than I would have liked to. Now that I think about all the benefits of having it, but you've set up your business so that your business works for you and you don't work for your business. Getting that balance, and that a double click to that is the focus and what have you. So that would be, and I hope that's not too ambiguous, but
No, you
that
kidding
that
me?
would be that would to
That's
me that
awesome,
would be the
Richard.
advice.
Beautiful. Well, Richard, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on. Your insights and the conversation we had. My audience is thoroughly going to enjoy it, and I'm sure they're going to take something from it. Okay.
I
As a
appreciate you
reminder,
having me.
everyone,
Thank you.
you're so welcome. And as a reminder to everyone listening, this show is brought to you by the Prime Performance Method, where I help the high performing men rebuild their strength, energy, and confidence without sacrificing their careers. So if you're ready to feel as strong in your body as you are in your business, message me, John Fayocavitz, on LinkedIn. Until our next episode, perform strong in all areas of your life.